everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. I want to welcome you to my channel if you are new, and I want to welcome you back if you have been here before. My name is Diana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So today's video is my Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And the last few weeks, I've been focusing on the online exclusives, and I'm going to do that again today. A lot of you have reached out to me and said that this is great because you didn't know about this stamp set or this bundle or whatever, because we have stuff in the catalog and online, and it can be very confusing. So I'm actually going to play with the Playful Ghosts again, like I did before, and I wish I could remember. I can't remember who was the one, oh my gosh, that told me where I could find the online exclusive recipes. Oh, I told myself I wouldn't forget, and I did. So now I have posted those on my blog. So if you go to my blog over here, and if you go on the top of the blog post, you'll see current catalogs. If you click on that, that's where you'll find the recipes. So yeah, so that's it. It really made it a lot easier to figure it out for sure. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. I think I've remembered everything. I apologize if you can hear Winston barking in the background. Jeff went scouting and he just got back, so the dog is all excited. He's been so depressed. when Dad leaves, he's always so sad. So I apologize if you can hear him in the background once in a while. All right, so I'm gonna turn my phone. Excuse my stuffed up nose. I'm getting over a cold. So, all right, so close your eyes for a second while I get my camera adjusted. Okay, so here is the card I'm going to be doing today, and it's so fun with the circle shapes. Now, I did do one thing a little bit different. See, it says heat embossing here, and I didn't do any heat embossing, so I did change it up a little bit. And it just says slim card, so I had to figure that out on my own because it does not say what size. So I just figured it out by laying my circles down. But I will tell you the measurements. Let me get my handy-dandy ruler out so I can tell you what they are. All right, so we're going to be doing the Playful Ghosts, and it uses the Stylus Shapes dies, and it also uses the Dashing Designs 3D embossing folder. So when I have this little purple thing there, that just reminds me that it's a 3D, and it needs to go through the machine with a different sandwich or whatever you want to call it. All right. So now I did do some things ahead of time here. All right. So let me tell you the measurements. Now, the measurement of the open card. So when your card is open, this is a 7 by 6 1/4 inch card. So then it's scored at 3.5. So it's a really fun slim card. I don't know if I would necessarily call it slim line, because in my mind, when I say slim line card, I think it's like a long, like a number 10 kind of card, but it's still slimmer than normal. And then that means it won't fit in a regular envelope. But what you can do, and what I did, was I took, these are the assorted memories and more cards and envelopes. So it fits in this envelope. So you can just trim your card down, and it fits in the envelope. So just trim that, that card down a little bit, and you've got a slim card. All right, so there's that, and then we have this piece here. Now this is the, usually I say catalog version, but this is the online version. And so I don't have anything on the inside. Now this is where they heat embossed it, but I just stamped that Happy Halloween with the white craft and just let it air dry. And I think it looks totally fine. It doesn't have to be shiny and everything. And when it's a Halloween card, personally, I kind of like that. I would kind of call this satin. Would that be called like a satin look when it kind of soaks into the paper? All right, so let's bring our ink over here. So we're just going to stamp with the memento. So the first card is pretty simple, and then I had fun when I did the twist. All right, so we have daffodil, freesia, bubblegum. Oh my gosh, Diana, bubble bath. I will forever call that color bubblegum, but it's bubble bath, freesia, and peach. So those are the color cardstocks that we used, other than our basic white. All right, so we have our memento. So we're just going to stamp our cute little ghost flying on our circle. And what I did to figure out the sizes, I just stamped on a piece of daffodil, and then I just laid my stylus shapes over it to figure out what size I needed. All right, then we have our cute little Dracula, and he goes on the freesia. And I know sometimes the camera doesn't really show the colors as accurate, and it could just be my color screen, my monitor. But sometimes I've heard people say, "Oh, that doesn't look like whatever." Like this one looks really, really faded out when I look at it, but it is bubble bath. And then we're gonna put our cute little ghost or cactus, how I colored it the other day, coming out of the pumpkin. I kept them on my desk here. So these are the ones I did last week. Or I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but not that long ago. And I changed this little ghost into a cactus. And I've had so many people go, "Oh my gosh, that was so smart." So I love thinking outside of the box when it comes to my stamp sets. All right, so then we want trick or treat. And on that same size in the peach, we're going to put the pumpkins. And then there's this cute little bat. And he's going to go on the little tiny. I don't use this little circle very often, so this came in handy for that. All right. So now let's put our card together because really, it's a pretty simple one. All right. So now I've already embossed this with that embossing folder. So the recipe will be down below underneath the video. If you are watching, make sure you head on over. If you're watching the live, make sure you head on over to the chat room. That's where I'll be. And if you have any questions, I can answer them. If you're watching the replay, then leave a comment below and then YouTube will let me know and I can reach out to you. All right. So before we glue this on here, they also did some splattering. So I have my little splatter guard, which is just simply a piece of basic white thick folded in half. All right, so let me do this so I can protect my desk a little bit, even though I can see where I have splattered it in some places. All right, so we're just going to splatter on here. Now this has some fine splatter. So to get fine splatter, you're going to want to use the Stampin' Right marker over the basic black blends because it's going to give you a finer spray. All right. It just takes a little bit longer, to get it because this brush tip was a little more solid. This one bends a little more. All right. So I'm just going to flick and it's just going to put out a fine little spray. Like I said, it's not got a lot. I can get a little closer than I would if I had the blends. Lid on. So now we have just this little splattery of marker around. Okay. And now we can put our card together. So I put this together with glue dots and dimensionals. Get my glue dots. So I started from the top, then I went to the bottom, then I went to the middle. So we want to put our cute little flying ghosts on the top. Okay. And so he kind of goes up over the embossed image, embossed cardstock, and then this little guy on the bottom. So I had a lot of fun coming up with my twist for this. I probably say that every week, right? All right, now this little guy goes on the bottom. And then we have our cute little Dracula here. And he's kind of, they have him angled, so it looks like he's flying. Okay, so he goes there. And then I need my dimensionals because the other pieces I'm going to put on with dimensionals. So we have our pumpkins. They're just going to sit here. That. Our little trick or treat. Go here. But this would be so easy to make very multiples of this one, just because there's no coloring. All right, and then let's bring our Happy Halloween over. And then that is just going to simply go over here. So I'm just going to put a couple glue dots on the top. Excuse my arm. So I just put a couple glue dots on the top so that it can just kind of rest on there like that. And look how simple that first card is, right? It is so cute. All right, so this was the online Stampin' Up's version. So this was my my case of it. So now let's go to the twist. So like I said, I had fun coming up with the twist. Let's see here. So what did I do differently? All right, I kept it the same size. So I kept the layout the same. One thing I did do differently was I wanted to use the new So Swirly because I thought this would be a fun die because the ghosts are flying, right? So I kind of like that little swirly kind of design. And these are one of the new. We have like three different sizes. We've got like the skinny dies, the regular ones, and now we have these huge ones. So this is how big these are. So they're a good size. So if you like to do the longer cards, you'll be able to do the whole card. So it's super super fun. All right, so let's see here. Now I did stamp ahead of time because I'm going to do some fun. Well, that card was fun, but I'm going to do some other things. So I just wanted them to be good and dry before I started messing with them. All right, but it's the same size card. The only thing is it's got that swirly. So look at that, so swirly. So isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, it is so fun. So I'm just going to glue that on my card. Okay. And then this time I did on the inside. So, usually I don't put anything on the inside for the Stampin' Up ones. I'm looking for my memento. Here it is. All right. So I'm just going to put these little bats flying in the inside of the card. And these bats, they remind me of, I think it was a Disney, and I'm trying to think which, but it was a cartoon. And somebody turned into a bat, and I swear this kind of looks like that same kind of bat that, that whoever it was that turned into a bat, it just kind of looks like that bat. But anyways, all right. So let's get over to here. So I did my Boo with the white again, but I did Boo instead of, what was the other one? Happy Halloween, because I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. It's still on basic black. I still use the Stylish Shapes, but I used one of the other bigger dies for it. I still stamped that the same and that the same, but I want to add some color to these guys. So let's get over here to what I'm going to use. So what I did was I wanted it to be a color, but I wanted it to be kind of like soft in a way. So I didn't want to color fully with my blends. So I just went over and I got my watercolor pencils. So I've grabbed some from assortment 1 as well as assortment 2. And I just have them, here. So I knew which ones I had used. I'm also going to use a blender pen. And I haven't used a blender pen in so long. And so there's a difference between a Stampin' Blends, which is this, and a blender pen. So a blender pen comes in 3 to a pack. And basically it's just kind of like a paintbrush because it just moves color from one place to another. It already comes with the liquid in there, and then you have, your sides. But what I did with this just has some tape on it because I want to make my ghosts be kind of opaque looking, because they're a ghost. So I'm going to use my white craft pad, and I'm going to use it to color. So I have put my my white ink. I just squished it into the lid. And then this tape side, this is just so I know that this is the side that I'm using the craft ink with it. All right, so I'm just going to basically come over. And I'm also going to just use my finger. I remember in art class, we'd use charcoal, and then we'd like smear it around with our finger and stuff, like blend the color around. So that's kind of what this reminds me of when I was back in art class. All right, so I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to pick up some of that white craft, and I'm just going to bring it over to my ghost. And then I'm just going to kind of take my finger and spread it a little bit because I don't want it totally colored in. I still want to see that yellow. I just want it to be kind of like, he's a little ghost. I want him to be kind of opaque, and that's going to do that for me. I'm just going to do the same thing a little bit, and then just kind of move it around with your finger. And then our ghost is going to have a little bit of color to him. Just kind of, you can see now my little ghost has got some color, but I'm not going to color him fully in. Okay, so he's good there. Let's bring this little guy over. I'm going to do the same thing with him. So that's why I stamped them earlier, because I wanted them to be really dry, because I stamped them with the Memento. And if you don't let that Memento really dry, it might bleed just a little bit, because I'm using it with something other than those Stampin' Blends. But I just want to put a little bit of white here and there. Not a lot, but it's just there. It's really hard to see on the bubble bath because it's such a light pink, but it is there. And then we got to not forget our little Dracula. The same thing here. So the darker the cardstock, the more you'll see it. So I could have probably changed my bubble bath, but I didn't want to change it too much. I'm just coloring that on there. And again, just using my hand or my finger. I'm just kind of moving that ink. So now you've got our little ghost here as well. You can see that he's got some white on him. And then as that white dries, it will soak in a little bit. So then you can decide if you want to add a little bit more or not. Because just like when I stamped on here, you know, once that soaks in, it kind of softens the color. So that's going to be the same way here as this white craft dries on the ghost. All right, so now I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my blender pen back over, and we're going to do a little bit of coloring. So this is daffodil, and I'm trying to remember what. Oh, okay. I was like, what did I do daffodil with? All right, so we have daffodil. So I'm going to color on the inside of my pumpkin with the daffodil. And I'm just coloring it right in. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take my blender. And you can scrap. I just always kind of go like this because it's a little softer on your blender pen than this. So I just always kind of go like this with my skin, which is not always good because then I get this horrible color there. And sometimes it looks horrible, but it washes away. But anyway, so I'm just going to start with my yellow. It's one of the lighter colors. So it just kind of makes sense to, you know, start with a lighter color. But you just want to, you know, make sure there's no color coming off of it. All right. Then we're going to go to our pumpkin pie. So I have a few pumpkins. I have the big pumpkin here and then those little tiny pumpkins. So this is just pumpkin pie, watercolor pencil. So if you don't have the watercolor pencils, you want to make sure, you know, check them out. Like I said, I'm using 1 and 2. We've got like 2 different ones, and I'm using colors from both. So there's 2 different packs of them. All right, so there's my pumpkin, and then I'm just going to simply come over and blend that out. And that just, when you use that blender pen, it just makes the color pop. There, that's how quick it is to use the watercolor pencils and the blender pen. Now, keep in mind, this is colored cardstock, so you don't want to color too much with the blender pen, or you can make your cardstock pill, which means that the layers of your cardstock start to tear, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm just using as less rubbing with the blender pen as I can. I just want to move that color, but I don't want it to tear the paper. Okay, so if you want to get it darker, then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to take a Cajun Craze. So instead of going back with this, because it's pumpkin, we want to add a little bit of darker. Well, let's just take some Cajun Craze, and we'll add a little bit of Cajun. And then that will darken up some of that. And it's just not going to be much different. And then I'll show you a trick too. All right, so now we have that Cajun. It's just going to put a little bit of a darker look to it. So you don't really see it when you're putting the pencil on there, but once you put that blender pen to it, then that Cajun just pops out of the card. All right, now what you can also do is a lot of times I'll take the blender pen right to the pencil, and then you're really diluting that. Not diluting, but you're really getting, I can't even think. You're getting more solid color because you're picking it right up from the pencil. So see how dark that is? Because I'm grabbing it right from the pencil. So I do that a lot too. Okay. That looks pretty good. But then you've got a lot more color on here than if you picked it up the other way. But I love the look of, adding that little bit of Cajun. Let me put a little bit here as well, and a little bit here on those eye things. There we go. All right. But see how they're colored, but it's kind of more softer, a little diluted. Let's see, right here. So when I was playing, when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, this is pumpkin Stampin' blends. So see how it's a lot more darker? I like it, but I wanted to play around with the pencils today, so that's why I chose to do the watercolor pencils instead. All right, so let's put a little stem. We'll put some stems. And I'm also going to use this on the handle of the broom, as well as this right here on the broom. So I'm just trying to use the same color at one time. All right, so we'll color that like that. Okay. Then we want a little bit of the green. This is just the granny apple. I'm also going to put some granny apple on the hat. So I want my ghost, even though, he's a ghost, he's dressed up as a witch. I want him to be kind of fun. So I'm going to add some really cute colors to his hat. Okay, so that's just some granny apple on his hat there. Let's bring our little Dracula over, and I'm just going to put a little green right there in his ear hole as well. All right, so now we're just going to move that color around. Really just see it brighten up. And then it just kind of fills in any areas as well. So fun. All right, let's see what else we got to do here. All right, I have red. So we have our little tongue on our ghost. We'll put a little red pencil there as well. But look how fun these are, just adding a little bit of color to them. All right, so this one is done. I'm still going to speckle them, but I'm going to use the blends this time. All right, so let's add some more colors here. All right. So now this is Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to have the hat of my little Dracula be Gorgeous Grape. Make sure all my colors off. And I also, when I do this, I can feel that it's still wet. Because sometimes when your blender pen starts to get dried out, because there's only so much liquid in them, you don't know. But by doing that on your hand, you can feel that it's still nice and juicy. All right, so his little hat has just got that gorgeous grape, but I want his little cape. I want that to be black. And I know usually I'm like, oh, I don't use black, but the watercolor pencils are different because you can soften them, and because once you use them, they soften anyway. So you can tend to use a darker color because of that. So I'm just using the basic black. Now I'm not coloring the whole thing in because I want to be able to blend it out and have it be a little bit lighter. So I'm just coloring a little bit and then we'll blend it out. Now I'm going to go in and we're just going to color it. And I just kind of in a circle. I'm not pushing super hard because remember that you don't want to tear the paper. You just want to move that color around. And that's why you also want to make sure your blender pen's nice and juicy. So there's that cute little cape. So look how fun that is. All right. So what else do we have to do? All right. So I want to finish my little ghost. So I want his cape to be black as well. And I want the hat to have some of the purple. So this is that gorgeous grape. And it just makes the hat look so cute. But keep in mind that you are coloring over top of colored cardstock. So it's going to look a little bit different than if I just stamped these on just basic white and colored them. You would see the colors more of their natural color. Whereas, um, we've got the yellow behind here, we have freesia behind here, we have bubble bath behind here. So it makes the colors be just a little bit different. All right, so this is crushed curry. I'm going to make my broom be crushed curry as well as my, whatever, the buckle of my hat. Okay. And then we have to have a little bit of red somewhere. So I'm going to put, this is real red, and that's going to be the a patch. Okay, so the patch has got some real red on there. Oh, and look at, I forgot that. That was black. Forget that little bit of tape showing. Okay. I think I have them all colored, but I do want to take my white gel pen and I want to just put a few little lines in my ghosts just so that there is a little bit of a whiter, just kind of a white line here and there, which will kind of emphasize that my little ghosts are white. And you can see it more on certain of the colors. Some little speckles. You know me and my speckles. Okay. Let's see what else. What else did I forget? Okay, we're gonna splatter. And seems I forgot something, but that's okay. It'll come to me hopefully. All right. So let's lay these around. Let's get my splatter guard. And this time I'm going to splatter them with the basic black. So I'm going to do a couple at a time. I'm going to kind of be more up higher. All right, so this is just the basic black blends instead. So my splatters are going to be a little bigger. Okay. So cute. And then these will dry faster too. Gotta splatter. I love to splatter. And then pumpkin. I'm not going to splatter this guy because he's already looks like he has splatters on it. All right. So cute. Let's bring our card over. Put it together. Get this out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to put it together very similarly with how I did the other one. Oh, my glue dots, here we go. But look how fun. I just love that bit of color on them. We're going to put our glue dots. And I'm going to do the same layout so I can really side by side, because a lot of times when I do my twist, I change it quite a bit. I shouldn't say all the time, but I mean most of the time. But this one is pretty close. I want to lay it. I mean, I always lay it side by side, but this one, since they're fairly close, you'll be able to really compare them, I think. All right. So then we've got our cute little Dracula. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. And then our dimensional pumpkin. So this just shows, like, like any kind of card when it's like a seasonal card, like at Christmas time. You might go, oh my gosh, I don't have time to make 50 Christmas cards. So then you don't color them. You keep them simple but cute. But if you have time and you want to color them, then you can do the same layout and you can just add a little bit of color. All right, so I'm going to put my boo on there. And I'm going to trim. On my boo. Be on here too. That. Then I'm just going to open this up and I'm just going to trim it here so that it doesn't get in the way of when I put in the envelope. All right. And then we have to remember to put our inside, those fun little bats. Like that. So yeah. So isn't that fun? Just adding that color. And so just keep in mind that your craft pad is basically kind of like a white paint. And I could have used a paintbrush too, but that blender pen, it's got that nice tip to it. So I could get into the nooks and crannies. If you do that a lot, then I would just keep one as the craft, just because it could pull some craft into the barrel here. So you could just mark and say, this is the only one I use for craft, and then you would have both ends, is the craft. But just so I only had one out today, I just did it with the little piece of tape on it. All right, so this is the one I did earlier, so I don't think they look much different. All right, so here is the catalog or Stampin' Up's version. And then here is my twist. So what do you think? You know me, I love to color. So I like them both, but it does look cute adding that little bit of color. Oh, that's one thing I forgot. I forgot to add little pink cheeks. That's what it was. So I'm just taking my little, this is the Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just putting little pink cheeks. I knew there was something. There we go. So, okay. All right, so let me say, see you later, alligator. So yeah, so they're both cute no matter what. But that's what I mean. If you're gonna make, if you are ones that make Halloween cards and send them out, and you're gonna make a bunch, you might want to do the no coloring. But if you got a few people that really love Halloween on your list, you might go, okay, they deserve a colored one because you know they're gonna keep it, right? Because there's some people that they love you, they love your handmade cards, but they might not keep them, right? So, but I love how that little bit of color just looks so cute. I need to use the watercolor pencils more often because they're just like you can't you can't really mess them up, and you can get that highlight and low light just by just blending it out. But just practice with them. Like I said, don't overwork the cardstock or it will tear or pill. If you're gonna want to really be working a lot with it, try the watercolor paper and then just stamp with your stays on. Uh, but the watercolor pencils also work with the water painters if you're going to use watercolor paper. All right, so make sure you come back tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays. That will be 3 o'clock, Arizona time, same channel. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye for now.